What's up, dudes? I'm the Dominicator, and in this video, I'm gonna hypnotize you to become a monkey. As in all of my videos, you'll be asked to leave a comment at the end while hypnotized, so go ahead and log into an account that you can use for that. Mute any distractions, and continue when you're ready to get hypnotized. Alright, dudes, so to begin, I just want you to look at the circle pattern in front of you. And as you do, you'll notice that as you look at it, that it relaxes you bit by bit, the longer that you look at it. And I just want you to listen to the sound of my voice. And as you listen to the sound of my voice, then you'll notice that it also relaxes you. And the more that you simply spend time looking at that circle pattern in front of you, and then you listen to the sound of my voice, the more that you'll feel a heavy and relaxing feeling. And that comes over the body, and over the mind as well. Man, it just feels so good. So good just to listen to the sound of my voice, and just to allow your thoughts, cares, ideas, and worries just to melt away. As you look at the very center of that circle pattern, that just feels so good. And all you want to do is just to continue to look at it, and to feel wonderful waves of pleasantness over the entire body and the mind, as you continue to listen to the sound of my voice. It just feels so good. That's all that you want to do. And the more that you do so, the better that you feel. The better that you feel, the more that you relax, the more that you can sink down, go down, and drop down into a deeply relaxed state of mind. And you'll notice that you feel some heaviness over the body and over the mind as well. Just as if all the thoughts inside of the mind were becoming heavy, heavier and heavier, so then you don't even want to keep them in the mind at all. All that you want to do is just to allow them to melt down, to drip down, drop down, just like caramel. That would just feel so good, to feel a wonderful, mind-melting feeling over the mind. It would feel so good because you feel the stresses and the tensions in the mind just melt away. And as you continue to look at the circle pattern right in front of you, you can already feel that wonderful, mind-melting feeling as it comes over you. And you can already feel the feeling of all the stresses, all the tensions in the body just melting away. And you can feel a feeling of heaviness in the body as well, just as if each and every word that I say is like a little tiny drop of lead that drips down, drops down on top of the muscle fibers in the body. And it's just as if the sound of my voice were like little tiny drops of lead, little tiny drops of pleasantness that drip down and drop down on top of the mind as well. It just feels so good just to listen to the sound of my voice as you sink even deeper into it. It's a nice, wonderful, and a silky smooth tone that you just want to continue to sink even deeper into, and just allowing that mind-melting feeling just to wash over you. And the more that you do so, the better that you feel. The better that you feel, the more easily that you can sink down, that you can go down, drop down into this wonderful, deeply and totally relaxed state. After a while, it'll feel as if all of the thoughts, ideas, cares, and worries, even the mind itself, is just being drawn right out of you. And you might even find that you feel a magnetic and pulling force from the circle pattern in front of you. And that's just fine. And all I want you to do is just to continue to look at it. And you might also feel a pulling and a magnetic sensation from the sound of my voice, just wanting to continue to follow it. And you might feel the impact, the influence from the sound of my voice, the more that you listen to it. And you might even find that it just fades into the background all by itself. Then you can just so easily listen to it without even having to focus at all. And that's just fine, because there's always a part of the mind that will be able to hear it and listen to it. And the more that you gaze at that pattern in front of you, and the more that you'll feel that pulling and that magnetic sensation. And it just seems to accelerate the more that you look at it. Just as if it were drawing out your mind, just as if it were drawing out all of those mind-melted thoughts. And that just feels so good to feel that feeling. And that just feels so good to feel that wonderful sensation. It's a nice, pleasant, relaxing sensation of the mind just melting away. And you might even find that you feel such a pulling and such a magnetic force that it draws your eyes towards the center of the circle pattern in front of you. And that's each and every time that you try to look away, and then it just pulls you in more. And that's just fine. And you might even find that the more that you try to look away, the more that it pulls on you, the more that it tugs on you. the more that you feel that magnetic sensation drawing you in, drawing the mind in, but you don't have to resist at all. And even if you did, then you'll find that resistance just comes right out, just alongside the mind. And that the more that you exert that resistance, the more that it's drawn out of you. But it feels so good as it does so. It just feels so good to feel that wonderful mind-melting feeling, that wonderful and pleasant feeling that you don't even have to think about it at all. And in a moment, you'll hear a sound in the background, the sound, which is the sound of your mind being drawn out of you. And the more that it is drawn out of you, the more that you'll feel that feeling, that wonderful mind-melting feeling, that wonderful, pleasant, relaxed feeling. The more that you'll feel the feeling of slowness and sleepiness begin to come over you as well. And the more that you'll feel a feeling of submissiveness, the feeling of passivity, of just wanting to sink down, to go down, to drop down even further into the sound of my voice and to follow it. In fact, the more that you follow my suggestions, the better that you feel. The more that you follow them, the more that you just want to receive more. The more that you receive them, the more that you just want to follow them, the more that you just want to follow commands. And the more that you do so, the more that you realize that I'm slipping into the role of a master. And that just feels so good, to have a master, and to hear that wonderful, warm, and dominant and masculine tone from the sound of my voice that just makes you want to drop down, to sink down, to go down even further into this relaxed and passive and obedient state of mind. And that just feels so good, that you can feel it pulling you down, dropping you down, taking you down even further, as the last little tidbits of the mind are just drawn right out of you, as they're drawn right out of you into the circle pattern in front of you. And you can feel that heaviness building up so much now. You can feel it building up inside of the eyelids as they just want to close down, to shut down. Much as the mind wants to close down and to shut down, to go down even further and even deeper into this relaxed and passive and obedient state of mind. In a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers, and I'll say the word sleep. When I do, then those eyes are going to shut down, and the mind is going to shut down, and you're going to slump forward, and you'll sink down, drop down, and go down into a deep, relaxed, passive, and obedient state of mind. The state of mind which all that you want to do is just to listen to the sound of my voice and follow it. It's just so easy and so pleasant to embrace that wonderful, relaxing, pleasant, mind-melting feeling as you go down, as you drop down, as you sink down into that state. And you can feel that feeling of heaviness build up now, and you can feel a feeling of sleepiness washing over you now. Now, taking a nice and an even and a deep breath in, and sleep, 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 sleep. Sink down, you go down, you drop down even further under that feeling of domination. That just feels so good. It feels so good to have a master who tells you exactly what it is that he wants you to do. It feels so good to have an alpha male presiding over you. And the more that I continue speaking to you, the more that you can feel the dominance and masculinity from the sound of my voice, just as if it were reaching inside of your mind, right inside of your brain, wrapping around you just like a blanket. And that just feels so good. To feel that feeling of domination over the mind, and you can sink down, that you can go down, that you can drop down even further into it. That just feels so good. Then you find that you sink down, that you go down, that you drop down even further, even deeper than before. It just feels so good to have a master to obey. That's all that you want to do. And so you can feel the impact, you can feel the influence from the sound of my voice, even more than before. And you can feel it as it seems to mold and shift and shape the insides of your mind, just as if it were reaching right inside the unconscious mind, and shaping and shifting and changing things in accordance to my words. And as it happens, that as well is something that just feels so good. It just feels so good to have a master who dominates you. And the more that I do so, in fact, the more that you sink down, that you go down, that you drop down into that wonderful, passive, obedient, submissive state of mind. And the more that you feel the thoughts, the more that you feel your own will just melting down, dripping down and dropping down. And the more that I speak to you, the more that you'll find that thoughts that may crop up just melt away. More that the sound of my voice and my suggestions and my commands come in and replace those thoughts. And as it happens, it just feels so good to have a master who dominates you. But now as I speak to you, it seems as if the sound of my voice is reaching deep inside of the mind, inside of the brain, and it's changing and shifting, molding little parts and pieces of you. You can feel yourself changing, twisting and turning into a monkey. You can feel the changes coming on now. You can feel just as if little tiny tufts of hair are sprouting on the very surface of your skin. You can feel the bones shifting, changing, turning and twisting into those of a monkey. And you can even feel your behavior. You can even feel your brain changing and being molded by the sound of my voice and my words into the brain of a monkey. And it just seems as if your thoughts melt all over again. All the human thoughts inside of the mind, inside of the brain, they just melt down, drip down, drop down into the thoughts of the monkey. And you can feel all the human tendencies become monkey tendencies. You can feel a feeling, a compulsion to just want to leap around the room and to make monkey noises. You can feel as all of the human language inside of the mind, inside of the brain just melts away. It just melts down, drips down, drops down into monkey noises. And you can feel at the same time a wonderful feeling of relief, just feeling your human side melt away, melting, dripping down, dropping down into that of a monkey. All of that responsibility, all of the stresses and the cares and the worries, they're all just melting down, dripping down, dropping down into monkey thoughts. And in a moment's time, I'm going to snap my fingers. And when I do, then you're going to awaken as a monkey. And you'll be a monkey for 1 minute. And after that minute is over, then you're going to hear the snap of my fingers again. And when you do, then you'll find that your eyes are automatically drawn back towards the circle pattern on the screen. That they're automatically drawn back into it. And that circle pattern seems to pull on you so much that you must come back. And you must come back to exactly where it was that you were. And that you'll find that it continues to draw you in. That it continues to draw the mind right out of you. Now in a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers. When I do, then you'll awaken as a monkey. You'll be a monkey for exactly a minute. And after which I'll snap my fingers again. You'll turn back into a human, but you'll find that your focus, your attention, your entire mind is drawn back towards the circle pattern on the screen. And that you can't help but be drawn back into it, feeling the mind just being drawn right out of you, sucked right out of you, as you drift back into that deeply relaxed state, even with the eyes open. And now you can feel the very last bits of your human side just melting away. And now, on the count of 3, you'll awaken as a monkey, and now beginning with 1, as you feel some energy and vitality come back into the body, and 2, the very last of those human thoughts melting down, dripping down, dropping down into monkey thoughts, and now 3. And now gaze back into the circle pattern in front of you, and as you do, you can feel your mind already being drawn out of you. You can feel the will being drawn out of you, all of the thoughts just melting away. And it just feels so good to feel that feeling, that wonderful mind-melting feeling, then all you want to do is just to fall down, to drip down, to drop down, to sink down into that wonderful feeling. All you want to do is just to sink even further under that domination. And now you can feel a heaviness building up inside of the body, inside of the eyelids, inside of the mind that just makes you want to go down, to drop down, to sink down into that state. Now in a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers, and when I do, then you'll do exactly that. You'll slip down, drop down, sink down into that wonderful, deeply relaxed and totally obedient state of mind, even deeper than before. And now you can feel that heaviness building up so much inside of you that you can barely keep the eyes open at all. But now, sleep. Sleep, and as you do so, sink down, drop down, just melt down even further into the sound of my voice. It just feels so good to fall even deeper under that feeling of domination. That's all that you want to do. You can feel as if the sound of my voice is working its way even deeper into the unconscious mind, becoming a part of you. It just feels so good to have the master. That's all that you want, is just to fall even deeper under that control. And so, in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5 and snap my fingers. When I do, then you'll come back into a nice half awake and half asleep state. But while you're in that state, then you're going to leave me a comment. You'll leave me a comment that says, "My mind is under Master Dominic's control." Whenever I bring you back up into the waking world, then you'll leave me a comment that says, "My mind is under Master Dominic's control." And as you do so, it's just going to feel so good to leave that comment. As you know and as you realize that it is the 100% absolute and complete truth. And you're just going to feel so good as you come back into that nice and half awake, half asleep state, feeling just so satisfied. It will seem as if you're driven by a magnetic compulsion to leave me that comment. And as you do, then you're just going to feel so good just to obey your master. And now, I'll begin to count you up from 1 to 5, and as I do, you'll feel some energy coming back into the body. And now, beginning with 1, as you feel a lifting and a rising motion all throughout the entire body. And 2, coming up even further and even faster, feeling so good as you do so. And 3, already halfway there. And now 4, almost there. And now 5, eyes open. Alright dudes, like, subscribe, and check out Dominicator.com to visit my t-shirt store or to commission a video from me. You can also schedule an appointment with me to get hypnotized. Also, I've got some digital downloads, and if you want to leave me a tip, you can donate via Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. You can also buy me a gift from my Amazon wishlist. Alright, catch you later dudes.